Raptors when we count down one. Flight directors go for launch. Ignition. Stage separation. Starlink burn center.
Hello and welcome to Starbase, Texas. It's 5:19 p.m. Texas time, and we are just over 31 and a half minutes away from Starship Flight 13, the second test flight of our next generation Starship, version 3. During our initial launch attempt last week, we had a clean countdown, loaded all propellant, and got all the way to engine ignition, where the vehicle executed a safe shutdown when its automated systems detected off-nominal startup on 4 engines. That safe shutdown ensured that both the vehicle and launch pad were kept safe. As we often say, the payload on these test flights is data, and even when we don't get off the ground, we learn some valuable lessons and improve from them. We're going to dig into the details of that in just a moment, but all of that to say is that we're here today and we're ready for our second launch attempt. I'm Kate Tice, Senior Manager of Quality Systems Engineering.
And I'm Nathan Commissariat, a civil engineer here at SpaceX. Today, we're coming to you live once again from just outside the Star Factory production floor, about 1.5 miles from the rocket on the pad.
Back in May, the first test flight of Starship version 3 delivered tons of data, and we'll be putting those learnings into practice today on Flight 2. All of this brings us one step closer to a fully and rapidly reusable vehicle, the key to enabling frequent flights to the Moon and Mars. Starship will also enhance Starlink's constellation and connectivity on Earth, the Moon, and beyond, while helping establish a network of AI data centers in space. Success on today's suborbital mission also opens the door for near-future orbital flights and our first attempt to catch ship on Tower 2 here at Starbase.
And this is an exciting day for the Starlink team as well, as we're planning to deploy 20 of the newest generation Starlink satellites. These sats aren't intended for operational use and will only be in space for about 20 minutes before demising. But during those 20 minutes, we're going to attempt to speedrun a bunch of tests. Things like deploying solar arrays, firing thrusters. We'll get into those a little bit later into the show.
Yeah, and what Starlink engineers learned today will be essential to deploying operational V3 satellites into the Starlink constellation on future Starship flights. These larger, more powerful next-generation satellites are designed to boost orbital capacity, strengthen the overall network, and deliver a noticeably better experience for our customers.
And as we've said before, Starship is a developmental program. What we're doing today is a test. We test in flight because it's the best way to rapidly iterate the design, and it's the best way to put the vehicle through its paces in the actual conditions it will experience during an operational mission.
Yeah, exactly. So while we have real Starlink satellites on board, the most important payload today is data. But no matter the outcome of today's test flight, excitement is once again guaranteed.
Now let's head a couple of floors upstairs where Dan Hewitt is just outside the Launch Control Center. How's it going, Dan?
Hey, Nate. It is going great. Hi to you and Kate. Hello, everybody else. I'm Dan Hewitt with SpaceX Communications. Happy to be here with you for another launch day. As Kate noted, our first attempt to launch this flight test last Thursday ended early in a pad abort. Let's dig into that a little bit. So 4 of Super Heavy's 33 Raptor engines aborted at startup due to issues with their aux turbo pumps. Those rapidly pressurize and feed liquid oxygen into the engine for combustion. For those of you that like to pay real close attention to the on-screen telemetry, you saw this at T0 during that first attempt. We command the engines to start up simultaneously. You get some slight differences as the engine adapts in real time, but you saw 4 not light up. So 4 out of 33, what exactly happened? We have a launch constraint built in where we can only be down 2 Raptor engines at liftoff, so the vehicle detected more than that, we're out. automatically aborted before the final T0 safely shut down all of the engines that started up. We dug through the data, and what we saw was some off-nominal spin response in the aux turbo pumps on 6 of the engines. So the most likely root cause was determined we were collecting some moisture inside of the pumps from previous operations, which then froze when we introduced that cryogenic propellant, and that either slowed those pumps down or stopped them completely from spinning. So for this next flight attempt, we swapped in 6 engines that were already at Starbase, and we did a test back on Wednesday that allowed us to check out the newly installed engines and spin the aux pumps on all 33 after they were chilled, check out their performance before we got into another launch attempt. We pulled a bunch of those engines off, as we said. We tested one on a test stand up at McGregor, helped screen for any other issues that might be hiding, and that one was actually able to do a full booster ascent burn. So got us in a good position for today. Even though we didn't get off the pad last week, we learned about the engines, the prop systems, how they perform in the flight environment. Already going to drive some changes to make Starship more reliable. We also got a real-world test of an abort that's designed to take place at one of the most critical dynamic phases of flight. We safely shut down 29 running Raptor engines, safeguarded the vehicle and the pad. A mountain of work goes into designing aborts. You've got software, hardware engineers just dreaming up bad day scenarios, how we want the vehicle to respond, just to give us the best possible path to maximize safety, preserve the mission and the hardware, so we're able to do that. All right, that was then. This is now Flight 13's second attempt. So things are looking really good at the moment. Just behind me here is the Launch Control Center. Everybody's on console, looking at the systems on board the vehicle and on the pad as we count down to liftoff. Propellant load is underway. We slipped a little bit into our window as we waited for some last couple of things to settle out, and we are targeting a liftoff at 5:51 p.m. Central Time. Weather today, you can see we've got blue skies. We're going to do a little weather corner here for a second because we were originally attempting to fly yesterday, and we didn't because of, we said, weather. I want to be clear, the cause of not flying was visibility. It had nothing to do with launch weather constraints. One of the key goals of this flight is to get very clear imagery of the tiles on Starship as we're flying it at a higher dynamic pressure. You can't do that when you have clouds completely obscuring your view through all of those critical phases of ascent. We're actually capable and legally allowed to launch into lightning because we've done a ton of testing, unique testing, analysis, studying aircraft capabilities, and it's designed because that's ultimately the cadence we want to fly at, like an airplane. We're going to utilize that new capability carefully, but we're very aware if we want to fly Starship as often as you could fly an airplane, you're going to have to fly in weather that historically would keep rockets on the ground. So we're doing that analysis, we're doing that testing to prepare for the future. Aside from weather, we're watching the range, both in the Gulf right here off Starbase and in the Indian Ocean. That's currently green. We are not tracking any vehicle or pad issues that will preclude a launch today. Speaking of the pad, that launch infrastructure, it's every bit as complicated as the rocket itself. It's designed to operate in some of the most extreme conditions on Earth. In case you missed it, we had some pretty cool insight into what it takes to launch the most powerful rocket on the planet in the second episode of our ongoing documentary, Starship.
They called that one off due to weather, but it wasn't rain or lightning or anything like that. It was actually clouds.
When we're only a week out from flight, my main focus is getting into flight.
I'll have more updates on that in just a second.
The thing that separates us from a lot of other companies is that we test fast and we test often, and that includes launches. We want to make sure the vehicle's all ready to go. We want to make sure the ground's all ready to go.
We are back.
We also don't want to be caught in analysis paralysis.
Our main objective today is a 10-engine static fire.
We are back for technically the third attempt of Flight 13. Gonna happen last week, then it was supposed to happen yesterday, and then the weather, like I was just saying, clouds got in the way, so they couldn't see the rocket, which is their main goal. They can fly through clouds, but they didn't want to. So here we are again today, and hopefully today will be the day, once again, that we can get a good flight. No issues.
We kicked out early. All teams triage alerts, prepare for
Yeah.
actually had another pad abort on the diverter.
Interesting that
right during
they
engine
had
firing.
issues with
There
the
was so
engines
much noise and vibration
because they weren't
that it
able to
actually
do
shook the
tests
sensors
beforehand. They
locally
rolled the
out
booster out in the
this
next day,
area
tried to fly,
that they
so they weren't able to
were
do
the
static
satellite
fires
tests.
or like spin prime tests or anything like that. That's the coolest
We
shot
went back,
ever.
obviously, afterwards and looked at all the data and tried to come up with
But
some ways to
yeah, they weren't able to do
still
the
protect the
tests,
integrity of the diverter throughout
so
the
they couldn't
operation
clear out the
while
engine.
changing our parameters
Which I think
with
they've realized now is
making
probably
sure
the
that
next
things were
flight
not
they'll
aborting
do
again.
them tests.
A flame diverter is like a super simple concept that is like not at all complicated in operation and is just absolutely murderous in the
Turns back up.
details. These are extremely sophisticated thermal load sensing devices. If they turn into melted metal slag, then you know that you got too much heat. If you melt this, you're hotter than aluminum.
They don't really
melts.
look like
If you melt
sensors, they just
this,
look
you're
like
hotter
plates
than
of
zinc
steel
melts.
stuck
If you
to the
melt
side
this,
of
you're
flame
hotter
trench.
than copper melts. If you melt this, you're hotter than Sharpie melts. So we're sub-Sharpie. We have all of this mass flow, all of this energy that is just absolutely trying to obliterate our pad. We want to give it a thing to
I actually want to
obliterate
grab something I meant to
keep
show
from obliterating the things that
last
we care
week
about.
of
And
my
the thing we give it is
model
fire.
that I have. I had it stacked, the ship and the booster on the pad. The tower's not done.
The amount of energy
The
water
pad
can
is kind of
absorb
done.
is, like, miraculous. And so, if you can get high enough pressure
Why the
water
camera
in
got
the
out
right
of
places
focus?
and just allow
Hello?
it to flash boil that water,
Ugh, keeps doing this.
then it solves all the problems for you. Like the idea is that
Yeah,
the steel
but
never
then
gets that hot. The structure never
someone
gets that
knocked
hot, 'cause
over
the
the
water
ship,
absorbs all that energy, turns to steam,
destroyed the
and
hot
everything
stage
goes
ring
bad.
on the booster.
So for this flame deflector on pad 2,
So I have to
we're sitting
reprint the
somewhere in
hot stage
neighborhood
ring
of about
on the booster.
650,000 gallons per minute.
They're already ordered filming today
That's approximately
to
in the
reprint
range
that.
of about like one entire
It's
Olympic
really thin,
swimming
it's
pool
really
being
easy to
drained
break.
in the course of a minute.
So ship's fine. The booster on top of the pad is like 5 feet tall. So the ship fell from that high onto just onto the ground, and it's perfectly fine somehow, even though it's hollow on the inside. Let me get it though, because I wanted to get it.
Reflector's still there, so that's the reason we built those things.
Putting the rocket into human terms is something really tough. 65,000 pounds per second of propellant that is coming out of the
This
engines.
is
And again, just
my
like 10 million pounds of thrust, like what does that number mean?
ship
I think of like
that I have
11
printed.
Ford F-150
Printed this a long
trucks
time
per
ago.
second.
I've been doing this
Just
project
zipping
for
out
a
of
few
the
months
bottom of the
before I
rocket.
left
It's like imagine if you had the world's
Malta,
biggest machine
and then I
gun,
came
except
back,
for instead of
started
shooting bullets,
again.
it was shooting pickup trucks.
But
it's just firing 11 pickup trucks
still
per
needs a
second
few
out of
little
the bottom of the
touch-ups
rocket.
for
It's like,
paint here
do you
and
think
there.
your stuff could
But
survive that?
you can see the flaps actually
It
rotate.
is so satisfying to watch the
Same on the
slow motion
side.
flame diverter.
You can see on the
shots.
engines on the
Right,
bottom,
and just hear all the exciting
and the
stories of how we
flaps
tackle these
also
problems
fold
out here
in
Starbase. Super
both
exciting.
sides.
Yeah, and by the way, if
I
that
can
looks
see all
like
like
fun
the
to you, come
the
join
details
our
of
team. We
it.
are seeking scrappy problem solvers to
It's very
help
cool.
us build the future.
Few
Okay,
little
let's go
bits here
meet
and
the
there, like
rocket
the heat
out on
shield
the pad,
isn't
Starship
great.
version
Little
3.
bits on it, but
It's the most powerful rocket
it's very cool.
ever
It's
developed and
very
ever
interesting
flown.
project.
And it's also the tallest.
Booster is
at
massive,
just over
and it's kind of broken right
407
now, so I'm not going to bring
feet
that in.
tall, fully stacked.
Shit, the
It
pad is really cool,
massive. Standing
because like
at
the
base
detail
and
of all the
looking up
clamps.
is like looking up at a 40-story building. Incredible.
Yes, it's a two-stage rocket. Both stages are designed to return to Earth and fly again.
Did I break the ship?
Making that thing that you see on your screen
I
the
think I
first
just broke the
fully
ship.
reusable
God
rocket ever.
damn it.
The bottom half, or
Oh
the
my
first
God, I
stage,
just snapped
is
the nose gun
super
off the
heavy
ship.
booster.
No.
That's the silver part. It's powered by 33 of our newest iteration. You see them there on your screen now. Raptor 3 engines. They run on liquid
just broke
methane
it. It was
and
going off the ship.
oxygen, and
Oh,
this
that's
version
what's
of
been wrapping
Raptor
it around in
provides
there.
a significant increase
Anyway,
in thrust.
and I glue it back
With
together.
that additional thrust, as you can see here by these comparisons, the version
Snap
that
right in
we're
payload bay.
launching today, version 3 on the far right, that version of Starship gets off the pad
How did
much
it survive
faster
like a
than our
5-foot drop
previous
but not
versions. The one
fall
on the
against
far
my
left
chair?
is, I believe, is actually our Flight 1 footage, and in comparison,
Snapped
they
right
really
in the
just go.
joint.
Yep. And now Super Heavy has 3 grid fins, which you can think of as aerodynamic rudders. You see
Yeah,
them on
that's
your
annoying.
screen now. They help steer during landing.
They
They're
lasted so long.
50%
I
larger
can
than on
glue it back
previous
together. It
booster
might not
versions
look
and are
good, though.
designed to support rapid reuse and a more stable atmospheric reentry.
I
Yeah.
love that shot there. And at the top of the
They can glue back
booster,
together,
we've got
I
the hot
guess.
stage adapter. It's
Well, the
designed
thing is,
to
the glue
protect the
messes
booster
with the
during
paint,
separation, and now
it
it's
discolors
fully
it.
integrated for reusability.
And stacked right above that is our
That's
upper
annoying.
stage of the rocket, or stage 2. It's what we call ship. It's powered by 6
2 big
Raptor
joints there.
engines, 3
It's on the
optimized to
payload
sea-level
big door,
performance,
though,
and 3
so it
for the
doesn't look-
vacuum of space.
It wouldn't
Ship's
look really
design
out of place.
could one
but-
day enable point-to-point
Be right
transfer
back. Let me
on
put a
Earth,
bit of glue on
meaning
this.
you can travel anywhere on the planet in an hour or less. Sounds pretty great to me.
Sounds awesome.
It's designed to carry massive orbital payloads, both cargo and crew, to Earth orbit, the moon, Mars, and beyond.
And for the first time, we are carrying real Starlink V3 satellites to space. For more on that, let's head out to California, where Tyler is standing by with the team in Hawthorne. How's it going, Tyler?
We're doing great over here, Nate. Thank you both. I'm Tyler Lionquist, and I'm a Starlink business analyst here at SpaceX. Now, for those of you who have been following along, the Starlink version 3 satellites have been designed to take full advantage of Starship's payload capacity. And we're going to get our first look at those satellites today. The Starlink V3 is our next-gen satellite, and it includes meaningful increases in capacity, data density, and power generation. So we'll be adding around 20 times the capacity into the constellation on each Starship mission as compared to the version 2 satellites that we launch on Falcon. And that means that we'll be able to serve more people all around the world and with increasingly better high-speed internet. Like all Starlink satellites, the V3s are built at Starlink's site in Redmond, Washington, where we already build more satellites than anyone else in the world today. Now, the V3 sats are designed to support 1 terabit per second of downlink and 160 gigabits per second of uplink capacity. That's approximately a 10 times improvement in downlink capacity and around a 22 times increase in uplink capacity from the version 2 Starlink satellite. Serving this capacity to and from customers are the satellite's upgraded phased array antennas. The upgraded phased arrays are fed by SpaceX's in-house developed chips that were designed to serve customers more efficiently in both densely and sparsely populated regions simultaneously. And each Starlink V3 satellite is also equipped with 6 high-capacity 400 gigabit space lasers. Now, these 6 lasers will allow high-bandwidth traffic to flow uninterrupted between any 2 points in the world with redundant paths across a petibit laser mesh network. And if that wasn't enough, the V3s will carry 4 quad-band radio frequency backhaul antennas. And these will take advantage of the Ka, E, V, and W communication bands, allowing for an 8 times improvement in supported capacity compared to the V2 sats. And that's a lot of growth in capacity and capability. And as such, the new satellite design requires more power. So the solar arrays on V3 will generate approximately twice as much power as the current arrays that we fly on the V2 satellites. And they're also optimized to reduce drag in the lower orbital altitudes in which these new satellites will operate. But before we operationalize these satellites, we want to put them in a flight-like environment. These satellites were loaded into Starship last week ahead of that first attempt. And once deployed, the Starlink team will only have about 20 minutes of flight to speed run some of these tests before the sat's demise in the atmosphere. The team will attempt to run tests such as extending the new solar arrays and antennas, connecting with ground stations, and turning on the satellite's communication systems. And this is all part of SpaceX's iterative process to technology advancement. From the very beginning, Starlink was designed to scale rapidly and improve continuously. From production to launch and ground infrastructure, Starlink is uniquely positioned to keep pace with rising demand around the world. In fact, just last week, we rolled out the next generation Starlink kit, the V5, which is built for reliable, high-speed home internet.
Don't think so. Interesting. Let's do this. Yeah, the new Starlink dish looks interesting. There's apparently one with a battery in it too. It's pretty cool. So this is the
Tyler, a lot of work going on with Starlink. We've also started development on an entirely new satellite constellation, StarMind, our AI satellites. I got to sit down with Elon and Starlink's director of satellite engineering, Ian Dahl. We covered a whole bunch of stuff, really focused on what are the 3 limiting factors to making data centers in space a reality. First one we talked about was mass to orbit. That's where Starship comes in. We're going to need
this is the booster.
Orbit, and we're
I can see there's a few
and
gaps
really
I have to
payload capacity
squeeze
to
together
launch the
and
number
cover
of
up.
satellites that we're
Well,
talking about,
see all the clamps around here.
We plan to deploy up
See
to a
the,
million AI
my old one up
satellites.
here.
Those are going to function
My old,
as those orbital
things
data centers
kind
using
of falling apart.
Starship for
Tiny.
high volume, low
You
cost
can see the hostage ring.
Couple
All the
really
bits
key
broke off and one of the
reasons why
grid fins
moving
broke.
data centers to
But you can
space
see the
has
detail of the
advantages
rest of it.
over
It's
building
really
them
cool.
here on Earth, which
And
gets
the,
into our
the
second
tower
limiting
has to go in
factor,
here.
which is power generation.
You can see the
It's always
main
sunny in
trench.
space. Satellites can harness that sun, that near constant solar energy,
See the,
which is really going to be the only way to
here with all its
scale if
engines
AI
and
continues to grow at the
disconnect.
pace that we see, especially when you contrast it with all of the
And,
challenges that you have here on Earth.
yeah, you can really see the
Within
clamps here
about
where the
2 to 3
engine's going.
years, we
It's
believe
very cool.
space-based
Taken
AI
a very
compute
long time
is
to
going
do,
become the lowest
but it's
cost option as
definitely
those launch
a
costs
good
continue to drop
project.
and Earth-based constraints continue to grow. It's going to just transform how Earth powers AI, unlocks the future.
Do
And then our third limiting factor that we got to go figure out is going to be chips, and we got to do that fast. And that's what we're doing with TerraFab. That's going to be the most epic chip building effort ever. Not just churning out really cool advanced chips, but also building a massive scale location to do it. We're talking 100 million square feet, so about 10 Tesla gigafactories. All of this together sounds a bit fantastical, a bit out there, but these are real steps that we are taking right now that are going to set us up to eventually become a galactic civilization. That sounds really cool. I mean, harnessing meaningful amounts of power from the sun, supporting all of those AI applications that are going to change our daily lives, and making humanity a multi-planetary species.
Like, it's more AI, but at the same time, it's
website.
better off
Hopefully a link
in
appears
space
on the
than on
screen.
Earth
If not,
because
go look up
free
Starmine.
power,
So the
sun,
future's looking pretty
free
sweet,
cooling,
but first things first, we've
vacuum
got Flight
space.
13 ahead. Let's jump down to Kate and Nate for what's ahead.
You know.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, the future is built on progressive steps like today's test. So let's dive into the flight profile that we're going to see today.
That's right. We've got an exciting day in store. So starting with liftoff,
Let's hope we
Super
have an
Heavy will
exciting day in
ignite
store,
those
'cause I can't
33
do anything
Raptor 3
today.
engines right off of Pad 2 here in Starbase. We will then power through ascent ahead of hot stage separation, where the booster will shut down all but 5 engines at the bottom. Stage 2 will then light its own Raptor engines, pushing off from Super Heavy and starting our stage separation maneuver known as hot staging. We will then have the directional booster flip using 33 engines, and after coasting for a few minutes, the booster today will target a landing burn and ocean splashdown a few miles off the coast of Starbase.
Ship is going to keep the party going with its ascent burn to a suborbital trajectory, followed by deployment of those 20 Starlink
did they finally fix the streaming on mobile?
A single Raptor
I remember before,
Re-entry is
for
just
Fact
a few
9
minutes
streams,
later,
the
which should
UI
some
used to be
amazing
cropped
views
out.
thanks to Starlink, and typically we see some
think they
pretty
finally
fantastic
fixed it.
views of the ship's blistering re-entry through the Earth's atmosphere. A plasma blanket will form around the vehicle and never prevails to fight.
Why can I watch 1080p on my phone? Why is
And
that?
lastly, we'll conclude today's test with a landing flip, a landing burn, and a splashdown in the Indian Ocean. And with that, let's kick it over to Dan for a countdown update.
Thanks, Kate. Good news. We just heard from the flight director. We are T-minus 10 minutes. We're a little bit past that now, not tracking any issues for launch today. Range continues to be green.
Same the last
Our
day
range
too.
team hard at work, making sure we're clear out in the Gulf and in the Indian Ocean, where we're going to be sending the Starship. Weather continues to be gorgeous. Again, no clouds. We scrubbed our attempt yesterday, or didn't even try yesterday, because we had such poor visibility. Weren't going to be able to see those tiles on the way up. That's a key kind of experiment objective for this flight today, and so we're looking really good with
flying
weather
around
today.
my window open as
In the future, we'll see what kind of adverse weather we can fly into. We are capable and allowed to launch into lightning, but we're going to utilize that new capability carefully as we eventually continue to evolve Starship to fly it at an airplane-like cadence. You can see the prop load there on your screen. We're just about closed out on the main tanks on the ship. We just started propellant load in the header tanks on Starship. Those are the 2 smaller ones up top that we'll hopefully be using for the in-space burn and a landing burn at the end of its mission. We started loading our propellant at about T-minus 35 minutes today, and we're going to continue all the way down until we're inside 3 minutes to launch. We'll close out at about T-minus 2 minutes and 50 seconds on booster, and then 2 minutes and 10 seconds on the ship. So at the moment, we're looking good. That launch time, 5:51 p.m. Central, a couple of minutes into our window today. So we'll be back real soon. Toss it back down to Kate and Nate.
Thanks, Dan. Recently, NASA announced the astronauts for the upcoming Artemis 3 mission. The Artemis 3 mission is a crewed demonstration mission in low Earth orbit designed to demonstrate critical systems needed for future lunar landings. Astronauts Andre Douglas, Luca Parmitano, Randy Bresnik, and Frank Rubio, as seen there on your screen, they will crew the mission, and it's slated for 2027.
It's a great crew, and it's also the penultimate mission, the final test before Artemis 4 attempts to put astronaut boots back on the moon for the first time since 1972. We'll be launching a Starship with a docking port on the nose so we can practice rendezvous and docking with the crew. And one key test objective comes after docking, where we will be able to test out maneuverability of the vehicles together while in space. This has the new importance as the revamped plan for lunar landings used Starship to do the burn, sending astronauts to the moon from Earth orbit.
And one other cool ad, NASA is putting 2 SpaceX mini lasers on Orion to connect it to our
that's a cool thing. I knew it was going to be
4K imagery
Starlink
and
from the start,
video
because that's
from
the only
spacecraft
built
while
out system.
in space. So that's going to be pretty awesome to see.
Awesome views for sure.
Yeah, there's lots of excitement planned for next year as we all work together to send humans back to the moon. And speaking of sending humans to space, former SpaceXer and current NASA astronaut Anil Menon is actually up on the space station right now as part of Expedition 74. And he captured these sweet photos of Starbase during an ISS flyover. Hi, Anil. We're all waving back at you, buddy. It's awesome to see the whole picture here as there's lots of facility and infrastructure development going on. But Starbase isn't alone on that front.
Yeah, it changes every day.
Yeah.
But talking about other locations, work is well underway in Florida to get pads 39A and Slick 37A ready for future Starship launches potentially later this year. Starship launches from Cape Canaveral are key to hit the necessary launch cadence to get back to the moon, build a moon base, head to Mars, all the exciting stuff ahead in the future.
Yeah, exactly. And that future gets closer and closer with tests like today's flight. And with that, we are just under 6 minutes until launch. So that brings us to terminal count. Excitement is definitely getting traction down here as the crowd is gathering just behind us on the lawn outside, and happy to say, still not a cloud in the sky. Dan, how are things up at Mission Control?
Things are still looking really good, Kate.
Dan's echoes really annoy me.
Any holds on the board, no issues with the vehicle or with the pad.
I don't trust the holds anymore.
Continues to be green
after last week.
Gulf and out in the Indian Ocean for flight today. We'll continue monitoring that all the way down to the final minutes. We are going to be closing out our propellant loading on the booster and the ship within the next 3 minutes. We're going to have about 11.5 million pounds of liquid oxygen and liquid methane on both of those stages once we're all done. Then it'll be time for the pad to essentially ready itself, where we clear out all of the prop that's been flowing through feed lines up into the launch mount, up into the tower. Those
around 3 minutes it's supposed to finish up, and then on the ship it's at 2 minutes.
Thrust vector control, those steering checks as we get a little bit closer. If we need to hold that hold time, it's new for this launch, and we saw it briefly on our attempt last week. That hold is set at T-minus 60 seconds now. That's where we can pause, we can wait. We need to just kind of hang out for any pressurizations, anything like that.
So you can see how much of
we've got a couple of minutes to hang there. We will only
methane
hold
versus the oxygen
if there's an
you
issue, and we're not tracking any holds on the board right now.
That's right. Now, once T-minus 60 seconds passes, a number of events will occur in rapid succession. Both the ship and booster will configure their comm systems for flight, and they will rapidly run leak checks on gas and fluid tanks. Meanwhile, the booster will be going into internal power, and its engines will get their final priming for launch. Those ship engines will also begin their ascent bleed profile, and it will arm its automatic flight safety system. There's a lot of mechanical activations on the tower side as well, with one critical step being unlatching of the quick disconnect, feeding propellant into the ship.
And once T-minus 60 seconds has passed, we still have the ability to rapidly recycle the count under certain conditions back to that T-minus 60 seconds point and hold there to assess what happened and if teams can proceed once again to T0.
So
in
the
next
next
5 to 8 minutes of hold time, and that's
30 seconds here,
by
booster should be
propellant temperatures
finished
that we
loading.
see on the vehicle while holding. The flame diverter on pad 2, you can see it there at the base of Starship. That activates at T-minus 17 seconds. Now, if we trigger a hold after T-minus 17 seconds that will result in a scrub for the day, as we've already turned on the water. Now, for those that have just recently tuned in, once again, our primary test objectives for today's test flight includes a successful liftoff, stage separation. We also plan to deploy 20 Starlink V3 satellites. We have real satellites on board.
The real
We expect to have about 20 minutes of available time to speed run some tests and really allow the Starlink engineers to put them to the test in that time.
So
That's right, and we also have the
like
soft
20 seconds here.
splashdowns planned for both the booster
Booster
and
should
the
be
ship. Going
wrapped
to be
up.
super exciting to see if we can return those safely back, so that way we can get ready for tower catches again.
Oh, imagine if
And
next
just
flight's a
a
tower
quick
catch. It's
check-in,
gonna
we
be
got our
sick.
final green light from the range, not tracking any issues on ascent or out in the Indian Ocean for entry. So that was
That's cool
kind
to
of
see the
final
frost
go
coming
for
off of
flight
it.
that we wait for in these final minutes. Prop load now closing out on both vehicles. We have
Booster should be
no
done.
holds on the board. Again, that we've got that gate at T-minus 1 minute.
And
We're only
ship
going to
should be
hold
done.
if there's a reason, and currently there are no reasons.
Love to hear it.
Now, coming up here in a few seconds, we should have, actually right there we can see on screen, that's the base of the Super Heavy booster. Those are the 33 Raptor engines, and we expect to see and there they go, the TVC checkouts, also known as engine wiggles. We're activating those thrust vector control actuators to ensure that
cool to see how
those
clean it is
center
around here.
engines and the inner radius as well have the ability to steer the rocket.
Yep, super cool to see how fast those move. I mean, in flight, it's amazing to see how it steers the vehicle.
Coming up
We're
to the
coming
whole
up on
point.
that T-minus 1 minute now on our countdown, so let's listen in to see if we pass that gate.
But here they're closing out in there
All
on the
right,
arm.
we are through the gate. Still no holds on the board. 50 seconds to go. Starship getting ready to fly.
Let's do it this time. Come on. Come on.
-9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
I'll turn back now. If it stops, that's it.
3, 2, 1.
Come on. Let's go. Oh, it's so cool. It's so much faster compared to what it used to be. Sick. You can hear the rattling in the microphones. It's so cool.
Pitching downrange. Booster Raptor chamber pressure's nominal.
Yeah, you can hear them having to scream over the rattling. Like they have to get so loud to be louder than the rattle.
Raptor engines lit on the Super Heavy booster arcing away from us here at Starbase.
So cool. It's the best launch audio you'll hear.
Aerodynamic pressure, which again for this flight is going to be higher than it has been on any of our previous Starship flights.
Oh, so cool.
So we're passing through that maximum aerodynamic pressure over a minute now into flight.
I wonder what these paint lines are.
Still
They were there
33
before.
Out of 33 Raptor engines.
Oh,
lit
let's
and
go.
Our
All
next
engines.
major moment's going to be coming up in just a little over a minute from now when we're going to get to hot staging. We're going to shut down all but 5 of those engines on the booster. It's our version of MECO. Most engines cut off. And then we're going to ignite the 6 engines on the ship while it is
The
still
sound.
attached, to do
You
that
have to use
separation.
headphones when you're listening to Starship
As a
launches.
reminder, we try to do a directional flip, so when you watch on your screen, we're hopefully going to be sending that booster towards
Backwards.
the bottom of the frame. The booster itself, it's like doing a flip
So
up.
towards this
So
grid
it'll go
fin
towards the bottom of your
here.
frame. We do that
Oh, you
by
can't see
lighting
it.
the engines.
The grid fin at the
Slightly
bottom of the
staggered
screen, towards that.
sequence.
Oh my god, they're
Standing
getting
by for
hot.
hot staging.
Come on. That
All
camera
the
is so
5
cool.
engines down.
Such a weird pattern.
6 ignite.
Blackburn startup.
Look at it. Oh, show us the booster. Come on.
And the booster now doing its boost back.
Where's the
burn. It
booster?
Looks like we lit all 33 initially. Now we're down to 13. We're seeing
Where's the
6 out
booster?
of 6 Raptors
Show us the
on the ship.
They didn't show us any of the booster. What the hell? Come on.
Blackburn shut down.
Why didn't they show us the booster? What the hell?
And boost back burn
Dude.
shut down. So it looks like we were able to get through the boost back burn this time around.
That's
It
annoying.
was one of the key objectives we didn't
Come
show
on.
on the last flight.
Usually they're so good with camera
And
views.
we've got 6 engines lit on the ship.
That's annoying. That's... Usually they're so good with
All right,
the...
so that's the first
feeds.
of 2 burns that the booster is going to be doing to kind of send it back towards us. It's going to be landing a couple of miles offshore from Starbase, hopefully. We're going to try and get it all the way down to do a landing burn, where we're going to use those 13 center engines. They're going to ignite. That's what's going to really bleed off all that velocity that it's built up. And it'll eventually, hopefully, transition to 5 engines to kind of fine-tune its path in, and then all the way down to 3 for the remaining bit.
Usually they're so good with camera views, but they just didn't
All
this
right,
time.
we've got a couple of minutes to go until we get there. So booster's going to coast for a little bit.
Everything's
Ship
good though.
Still seeing 6 out of 6 Raptor engines lit. 4 minutes into the flight.
This camera
Ship's
view on
got
the
about 4
booster is
minutes
so
left.
good though. If they
Getting some
showed it.
killer views.
If they show the camera view when
how's
it
the view
flipped
from
back.
from down there.
It was incredible. I mean, it just shot off the pad, and seeing all the crowd now running back inside to take views on the screen here, it was amazing.
Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna learn to not stare at the engines, because now I have a bright blob in my vision.
Worth it.
Now, speaking of vision, we could see both stages there on your screen. Starship second stage is still firing its engine.
So 6.5 minutes.
Along with that,
Supposed to have the
down on the
landing
bottom right-hand
or the
side of your
landing
screen.
part.
Still following the planned flight path as well. Beautiful views of planet Earth there behind the ship.
Look at them. Oh.
That's right, and we're actually getting a live shot off the booster right now, an onboard camera. You can see the plume from Starbase where it just lifted off 5 minutes ago.
Starship on nominal trajectory.
We are there.
We are there. That is us.
I kind of want to run back outside and wave.
Right. Now, again, this booster is not planning to come back to the tower or to launch site for this particular launch. We are going to be planning to do an ocean splashdown just off the coast of Starbase.
So a minute
hoping
from
to still
now.
get some amazing views of that.
I'm supposed to have landing burn. Look at the color change on the ship.
Pretty awesome to see the Raptor engines there on the left-hand side of your
plumes
screen.
are so
you can
cool.
actually see the plume there of those center Raptors. Those are the sea level ones, as well as the vacuum Raptors are the 3 on the larger ones on the outer radius.
Now, just like on tower catches, we are going to be doing a 13-engine landing burn to slow the booster down. Hopefully we can get a live camera of the booster right now as we're going into that phase. Awesome shot, you can see it there. So right now the booster is using their 3 hypersonic grid fins to guide itself through the atmosphere toward its landing site. You can see we're only 5 kilometers above the sea right here.
Oh.
Just heard the call out for a landing burn startup for the booster.
Oh no. Slow down, please.
I have a feeling the crowd's about to go wild here.
No.
And another awesome landing for Super Heavy.
I don't think it landed
Congratulations to all the
properly.
teams here at Starbase and at our SpaceX team. An amazing, amazing view.
I don't think it landed properly. Enough
Everything
engines didn't
continues
start.
to go well with ship, as you can see there on your screen.
Yeah, we've got about a minute left with the ship engines on. Just looking at the booster real quick, it didn't look like we lit all 13 engines that we were planning for that initial landing burn. We were targeting a softer splashdown, and as you saw, it
Which
came
means
in
no
with quite a
catch.
bit of velocity still. So landing velocity did look a little bit high, but really cool to make it all the way back this time to that landing burn. We'll dig in, figure out how to turn on all those engines, and then get to a full
Which
landing
means no
sim.
catch next
But
time.
all eyes on ship. We are just a little ways away from getting those engines turned off. We expect it to
Flight
burn about
14
8 minutes
catch
and change.
is out of the
And
question,
so
I guess.
hopefully just about 15
They only
minutes to go.
lit 5 engines out of
Sounds
13.
like we just got the sonic boom
Yeah,
here
we sure
at
did.
Starbase
That was awesome.
from the booster splashdown. And engine shut
That's
down.
annoying. Hey, everything else is good though. That's a great sign, but no proper
All right, Starship
landing,
6
unfortunately.
Raptor engines have successfully shut down.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And there's our call out for nominal orbit insertion. So we got a ship in space. We've got a booster in the Gulf where we were planning to send it. It's a hell of a start to the day, Kate.
It's
Yeah,
on
it sure
target,
is.
but it's not
All of our colleagues here are filing in through the
slow
doors. A lot
enough.
of people wanted to stay outside and hear the boom, and so it's pretty great to see a ship in space, and everybody's super excited down here.
That's right. And as guaranteed, it has been an awesome day so far. All this action in just 9 minutes now. And objectives are done for the booster. Just want to quickly flag that that booster did land in a clear zone. We clear those before launch, well ahead, so that we ensure everyone is safe before the launch and after. So we're getting ready now for our in-space objectives.
Yeah, we've got a few minutes until the
There
next
goes a few
milestone,
tiles.
so sit tight and enjoy the space views and, of course, the space jams. We'll be back here at T plus 14 minutes to deploy our payload, which is 20 of our newest Starlink version 3 satellites. So we'll see you soon.
Alright. I'll turn this down a bit. And we'll watch some of the other views.
Those engines igniting. Let's take a look at the booster.
Oh, you can't see that. Where is it? There you go.
Can it do it? Looks like we had a flash, but nothing more. We had a few engines in igniting, not
We
all
had
of
8
them.
engines
And that
out.
was an explosion on the Gulf. An unsuccessful landing burn for Booster 20.
Ship FTS.
Or is it? Yeah, plummeting into the ocean there.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it tried its best. Good job, Mr. 20.
Hey, at least it made it that far.
Engines only ignited when they were expecting 13, and then it down selected to about 4, I think it was.
And there we go. We
Maybe
can
it
see
should have
the-
down
we can see
selected.
the live simulation simulating
yeah.
the catch at the pad. Of course, should this have been a catch attempt, the booster would be plummeting into the flats next to the pad because of that unsuccessful landing burn.
Aw.
But a good simulation on the pad nonetheless. 7 minutes into flight. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
the
we're definitely
ship
getting another
continuing to fly with 6.
another water landing after this. I got the. So, I'll go back to. So we will. Go here. Let's look at the let's look at the replay. Because it definitely didn't have all its engines.
There. So right now the booster is using their toward its landing site. You can see we're only 5 kilometers above the sea right here.
So on startup, Ooh, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 engines on startup. 3 of them are out. So these two down here on the bottom left, and this one. And then the middle and the outer turned off. Interesting. And then...
Just heard the call out.
Then I think it purposely turned off
the booster.
These 3. For whatever reason. Purposely turned them off.
I have a feeling the crowd's about to go wild here.
Yeah, it purposely turned them off. Which is interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, no, we're definitely getting another water landing anyway. We're not going to be getting a catch next fight. Let's look at some... Let's look at this. Let's see if they got...
Above the sea right
So... Oh, they didn't have any other cameras.
For the booster.
Not all engines lit. That looks like a wonky amount of engines.
Here.
And another awesome landing for Super Heavy. Congratulations to all the teams here at Starbase and at our SpaceX team. An amazing, amazing view.
Interesting.
Everything continues to go well with Ship, as you can see there on your screen.
Oh,
we're getting ready
that
to
was
deploy
fast.
20 Starlink version 3 satellites. That will get underway after we open the payload door in just about a minute. Now, for those of you that perhaps missed the previous 14 minutes, this is the second flight of Starship version 3. This is flight 13. It lifted off. It had a beautiful ascent as well as a ship ignition and stage separation. It was literally picture perfect from here at Starbase.
Picture perfect, and then we continued with that.
And the booster just ate it.
Separation. Amazing to see some live replays of that. And, of course, the booster performing its own boost back and landing.
Yeah, Ship continued for about 8 minutes
Nah, just
with all 6
ignore
of its
them.
engines and made it to second
And I
mission
ate
cutoff, where we heard good orbital
like
insertion
5 engines
and
that were out.
existing in space for the last few
No,
minutes.
8.
Now we're getting
Oh.
ready to deploy our very first real Starlink version 3 satellites. The door will be opening here in just about 6 seconds from now.
Yeah.
Now we won't have the same views as we did on flight 12 of our payload. We don't have
Why?
those cameras on board these Starship version 3s. That was a Dodger Dog
What?
exclusive, but we will be able to see them deploy from the ship.
Oh, come on.
As Kate said, we should see the door open up really soon if we haven't quite gotten it open already. We've got 20 of these Starlink V3 satellites.
Imagine if the door didn't open.
The door is open.
Okay, thank God.
And so, yeah, this is the first time we've got Starlink V3 satellites getting ready to go into space. And I mean, these things are really just kind of crazy upgrades.
Do they have at least a camera inside of the payload bay?
Just symmetric gigabit speeds through the Starlink network, pretty much anywhere on the planet that this is going to unlock. So really exciting. These satellites are only going to be in space for about 20 minutes. Sorry about that. These will only be in space for about 20 minutes as they're on the same suborbital trajectory as Starship itself. This is essentially just giving us a chance to try and run as many tests as possible.
That's annoying that they don't have the cameras inside.
the solar arrays, antennas, whatever we can on these vehicles.
Like, they don't have any cameras in sight at all.
Being a little scrappy with it. They might be playing some bumper cars once they're out of the door. But we are looking to get these deployed over the next couple of minutes. In the meantime, they're getting ready.
Of course, it went into darkness as soon as they go to deploy it. Come on.
Space Relight. Listening to a little bit of conversation on that, but we are currently tracking to do it. I'll give you some updates we hear otherwise.
Oh, thank God. Thank you.
And there you go. You can see our first Starlink V3 getting deployed out of Starship. Huge milestone for the team out here.
Yeah, the crowd is definitely hyped about this. We could see these Starlink V3s continuing to pop out with deployment assisted by the PEZ dispenser. Now, this version of Starship is built to deploy up to 60 of these more advanced Starlink version 3 satellites. Each V3 is designed to offer 1 terabit per second of downlink capacity. Now, let's put that into Falcon 9 terms real quick. A Starship launch with V3 satellites will launch 20 times the capacity into the constellation as a single launch of V2 satellites on Falcon 9. Just incredible.
And anybody that follows Starship, you know that the views
Hey.
that were being treated.
Why are they not showing the cameras inside much, though?
That's made possible by Starlink. It's given us just this unprecedented look into Starship as it's flying through space, hurtling through the atmosphere. It's powering the dozens of cameras we have on board. It's giving us real-time data on every system that's telemetered on board that vehicle in real time. We use the exact same constellation to power all of our cameras that we have out in the field here in the Indian Ocean. So really powerful technology for just connecting you no matter where the heck you are on the planet, off the planet. So thank you, Starlink, for
I wish they
me watch this stuff as we fly.
Like, they didn't show booster
we get
boost-back cameras.
about 240 megabits
They didn't
per
show
second of data rate.
much of the inside payload camera.
In the spaceflight community knows that's pretty insane.
Weird.
We're usually dealing with single digits on some of the older systems. So gives you a lot of insight, gives you a lot of ability to just rapidly iterate, know what the heck happened when things go wrong. But looks like we're seeing some more satellites get out the door. We do have cameras on some of them. The last
You just said you
couple that
didn't.
Are going to go out are going to try and do the heat shield imaging that we attempted last flight. We don't have that camera view
that's
that
what
we
they
got
meant.
on Flight 12 where you kind of see the satellite leaving Starship. Those aren't on the V3 satellites. But we are going to, on the last couple that go out, have some pretty narrow field view cameras that are going to be looking back at Starship, turn on some flashlights. And this is a test of a capability that we're really going to want when we start doing orbital flights, to just add that extra layer of safety, that extra layer of reliability, where we're going to be able to image Starship's heat shield after it's gone through ascent, after it's been in space, before it re-enters. So we're going to try to test that again today. The heat shield imaging, we didn't get a whole lot last time. Ooh, looks like we got some thunderstorms on planet Earth below us. But a couple more satellites to go, it looks like.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome
That was cool.
to see our V3s in space. I want to give a shout out to our Starlink colleagues. And we expect
Let's see, when was
to
the
run until about 27 and a half minutes, so about another 7 minutes here. The Starlink team will be attempting to speed run these tests.
And there's more of them?
Speed run test these version 3 satellites, where they will attempt to do a few tests such as
Why can't they show us the inside cameras?
and antennas.
You can see the solar rays
these
extend.
V3 satellites with ground stations and turn on the satellite's communication systems. Now, they're only going to have about 20 minutes or so to do all of this, as these satellites only have that long before they demise in the atmosphere or break up due to that friction when they re-enter the atmosphere. So what we learn from today's deployment will help progress.
They better have
and
some cool
move our
live
program
views
forward,
of the
which is
ship
super exciting.
landing.
You could basically say that the payload's payload is data. Like we're getting
Why is
very
my camera
inception
so
here.
dark?
Now, in addition to those tests for Starlink, for the Starlink team, as Dan mentioned, 6 of the satellites have been modified with engineering cameras to help scan Starship's heat shield. That will help inform our analysis of Starship's readiness for future catch returns back here at our launch site. So for those that might be unfamiliar, we are currently capable of catching our super heavy booster, and we've done that a couple times. We have not yet attempted to catch our second stage or ship, and so that is going to be a very exciting milestone when that day comes.
For sure, and we're building up to it with today's tests. We are still planning to do our water splashdown in the Indian Ocean, so stay tuned for that. That's only about 40 minutes away, but still in space, we keep on deploying our Starlink satellites. Again, these are
What's
our
the inside cameras?
version of our Starlink satellites, a whole host of added capabilities to our version 2 that's currently in orbit.
And this is our team here at Starbase Texas.
These are all of the team members that have helped build the vehicle, that have built the Pez dispenser, and got it ready to fly today. Amazing work.
Now, for those of you that have just recently tuned in, there is a spaceship in your screen, we promise. Right now, the ship is in orbital darkness, so we don't have any available sunlight from the sun to help illuminate the scene.
There's another one.
But what you can see moving out from that smallly lit space, those are the V3 satellites as they are being deployed. And essentially, the ship is illuminated from the inside, and so we're able to see the light come out through the payload door.
Right. Just a really small sliver of light at the top. That's our Pez dispenser. That's how we're both loading our satellites into the rocket and deploying it. It's pretty novel. We've got about 3.5 minutes still left of our payload deploy sequence.
Yep, looks like we've got 16 satellites deployed, so 4 more to go. These last couple will have those cameras, so if you see any sudden bright lights, that'll be flashlights turning on those satellites to try and get some imagery of Starship's heat shield.
How does it get imagery of the heat shield? It shoots on the opposite side of where it's coming out of. I don't quite understand that. Are they going to roll it? Like you'll see down here in the bottom right, if it rotates after the Starlinks go out.
Raptor relight demonstration a little bit later.
Why can't it be in daylight, man?
We'll be looking to relight one of those Raptor engines on ship.
Wait for the bright lights.
That'll be our next major milestone after we get through these final 2 satellites.
Maybe.
Just at 25 minutes into our flight, it's crazy to think that we're already screaming at 27,000 kilometers an hour, 200 kilometers above the ocean surface. Amazing.
Yeah. Now, for those of you that lost count, we have deployed almost all of our 20 Starlink satellites. I believe our last count was at 18, so we should be seeing 2 more. And we're very excited to see our version 3 satellites in space. And these are fully, like, these are real.
The 27.5 minutes means, like, the door is closed again, I'm pretty sure.
These are going to basically have a 20-minute lifespan where our Starlink engineering team will attempt to perform a number of tests and really
These last 2 going to come out?
tests during that time.
Right. And in terms of satellite lifespans, 20 minutes is
They're really not showing much for this stream for whatever reason.
20-minute time frame, we can
They're just
really try and
there. There's the lights.
It looks like we might have some this might actually be light from one of the Starlink satellites. As we mentioned before, a few of them, 6 of them actually are equipped with flashlights to look back at
But
Starship as we want to image
they're just trying to find videos to leave for their documentary thing
the ascent phase,
that they would
as
usually
this
show. That's kind of
information is
annoying.
very important for us to know and understand as we prepare for operations that will enable ship to come back to Starbase for landing.
That's cool. If they do that on every flight, they can verify the heat shield before they come back, so they know it won't get destroyed.
We are
Especially
about
if humans
40
are on it
seconds
as
away
well.
From that planned payload deployment sequence being complete.
Yep, looks like we've just got those last 2 to go.
There's the last
These ones might be
a
coming
few
out.
flashlights.
They're starting to see motion.
There it is. I actually see a bit better now. And then that last one, there it is.
It looks like we got a crowd at our Hawthorne, California location.
See the teleprompter behind them.
there as well.
From the other
That
host,
marks, if I'm not
whatever her
mistaken,
name
our
is.
20th. So our payload deploy sequence is now complete. Starship will now close its payload bay door and continue to coast around Earth to the Indian Ocean. Still,
It'd be cool if you're on the
lots
ground,
of
you can see the lights.
Major events to come today, including our Raptor relight burn.
Actually, let me see.
Plus 38 minutes, 58
Where
seconds,
is it right now?
followed by atmospheric re-entry, where the heat
Look at
shield
that.
will be put to test.
Why didn't you show us
and
that view?
eventually our splashdown. So with
Dude.
that, we're going to go ahead and go on to another quick.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely won't be able to see it.
Sit tight, enjoy the views, and of course some more space jams. And we will come back here at T plus 37 minutes for our Raptor engine relight and of course Starship re-entry.
Yeah, well, that was interesting. Kind of annoying. 1, booster didn't make it. 2, they didn't show views of the booster separating. They showed hot stage inside the hot stage ring, which they haven't done. Oh, look at it. Oh, I think they're rotating the ship. You can see down the bottom right. See down here. They're rotating the ship so the cameras get a good view. That's cool. Or maybe they're moving the satellites. Oh.
TVC checkouts.
Maybe they're moving the satellites, not the ship. Or both. That's cool.
TVC checkouts complete.
And they didn't show them. Like they usually show booster flip. They usually always do that. You can usually always see it from the ship, which they didn't do. They showed an inside view, which you couldn't see the booster from. They usually show an inside camera inside the payload bay, which they had because they showed it for 2 seconds and then cut it off, which they've never done before. They usually always show it. That's so cool though. Yeah, they're not showing half the cameras or a ground camera of the booster, which they said was their main goal because that's why they didn't launch yesterday. They wanted to get ground views. But they didn't show us a ground view from the boost back. They always do that. What is going on? Like, I get it, they want views to only show on their documentary. But that won't come out for another maybe month until right before the next flight. Maybe even longer if they're too fast. We won't see them views until then, which is annoying. Like we'll see ship views of landing, which is cool. And probably booster views, but I mean, still. I'm curious to see though on the ship landing, will it still do the roll? Like on the last one it came in and then it kind of did a roll sideways and flop down. Curious to see if that happens again. Because I'm not sure if that was on purpose before. Yeah, they did a 180 with the ship. They were facing this way and they did a full turn that way, so the cameras can, because the cameras came out this way and now they rolled it, so that cameras are looking back here. I would show it on my model, but I split it in two. So at 39 minutes we have the relight, and then 47.5 minutes the entry is supposed to start. And then an hour and 5 minutes, so another half hour until landing burn. So what I might do, gonna go refill my stuff, come back probably closer to entry. So maybe 15, maybe 20 minutes. I'll be back. And as SpaceX says, enjoy the space jams.
Welcome back once again to the Flight 13 webcast. If you're just joining us, our newest version of Starship, which you see there on your screen, successfully deployed 20 Starlink version 3 satellites. And I've got great news to share. Not only were we able to make contact with all 20, but we also made comms over lasers with all of them as well. So that is awesome. Hell yeah, shout out to our Starlink team. We're so thrilled.
Huge milestone. And that's only 3 minutes or 5 minutes after deploying them? I mean, that's crazy.
Amazing. And right now, we are expecting a relight of a single Raptor engine, and that's going to be coming up in just over a minute and a half from now.
That's right. We are going to be lighting one of our sea-level Raptor engines, and this is essentially just a demonstration that you can relight an engine after it's already done its ascent burn. And this is going to be really important when we do maneuvers for orbital missions, whether we're relighting to go into orbit, or if you're already in orbit and you're getting ready to do a deorbit burn. We did hear our Raptor team is go for the engine relight, so not going to be skipping it on this one. So we should see that coming up in just about 45 seconds from now. Again, this is not a deorbit burn for this ship. We are on a suborbital trajectory, so this Starship is coming back over the Indian Ocean no matter what. But this is going to be a pretty critical test for what we'll eventually need to do when we do orbital missions. When you got to relight those engines, do a burn to get yourself out of orbit. One thing that is unique on this one is we're going to be lighting it for a little bit longer of a time. We're expecting this burn to be up to about 14 seconds. We've only done about 3 seconds previously. And so that should be coming up within the next couple of seconds. Let's stand by.
Relight demo startup.
You see relight there on your screen.
Wow.
And confirmation over the net. Relight shutdown. The burn has ended. Congrats to the team on this milestone. I mean, it's crazy to see how we can maneuver in space, and just another icing on the cake for today's mission. So we're going to be taking another quick break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes before re-entry, which is targeted for about T plus 47 minutes. So we'll see you soon.
Vehicle and entry prep.
Starship is starting entry. Good attitude for entry.
Welcome back once again to Starship Flight 13, the second test flight of Starship version 3. As you can see by these pretty cool views on your screen, the ship is currently re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. Now, we probably have some first-time viewers tuning in today, so let's talk about this phase.
Right, so re-entry, it's a critical phase of flight, and we need information on how the ship's systems perform. So re-entry, you can see that speed in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. We have to scrub all of that speed down so that way we can safely land. It's a lot of energy to be able to scrub down, and it's all the energy that we just used to launch the rocket as well. So Starlink will also help us gather as much data as possible, which is really the main reason why we do these flight tests, is to see how the ship performs in space and evaluate how it works. Starlink provides us with one more path to collect data to help us rapidly iterate Starship's design.
Yeah, exactly. And if the ship manages to again make it all the way through re-entry, we'll collect valuable data on the spacecraft flying through the Earth's atmosphere, and it's doing so at hypersonic speeds, or more than 5 times the speed of sound. Re-entry is typically a portion of flight where we don't have communications with spacecraft because it's re-entering at or around orbital velocity, which is roughly 8 kilometers per second or about 5 miles per second. So at those speeds, the spacecraft is moving through the atmosphere so fast that it creates a plasma field around the vehicle.
That blanket of plasma distorts communication frequencies, so it's not uncommon to experience brief blackouts in communication. Starship is designed to land on Mars, where there are no runways or other humans to help out, which is exactly why we're testing this landing procedure that we're doing today. And we're doing these propulsive landings instead of more traditional means like parachutes, because propulsive landing...
control of the vehicle.
You heard that call out, flaps do have control of the vehicle. You can actually see one view, your screen moving around. That's actually a camera affixed to the flap. So as I was saying, we're testing these, doing these landings instead of more traditional means, so that way propulsive landing, we can enable more rapid reusability.
Yeah. Now, we did just hear that call out. We should continue to hear some call outs as the ship makes its way back to Earth. Now, when we hear something called entry max heating, as well as entry max Q, that means that the ship has made it through the maximum heating and aerodynamic loads that it experiences as it returns. So, safe to say that if it makes it through those specific points, we're doing pretty well.
That's right, so we'll continue to hear multiple call-outs as we go through this phase. One of those call-outs will be that the ship is transonic. We'll also hear another one when it's subsonic. Transonic will be referring to the period of flight where velocities of airflow surrounding and flowing past the vehicle are concurrently below, at, and above the speed of sound, so somewhere in the range of Mach 0.8 to 1.2. For reference, commercial jets have a range of cruising speeds, but most fly at roughly Mach 0.74, 0.85. Just for reference, that's between 480 miles per hour to 575 miles per hour, or 770 to 930 kilometers an hour. And subsonic, another call out that you'll hear later on in the stream, subsonic will refer to speeds that are much less than the speed of sound. So at this point in flight, the ship's velocity will be slowing down drastically. So with re-entry well underway, we'll take another break. and return just before the ship's landing burn, targeted for T plus 1 hour and 5 minutes.
Starship is leaving the peak heating phase of entry. External temperatures are coming down. Starship is at maximum entry dynamic pressure.
All right. Still gold. We are almost into, should be in transonic. Got that. Oh, can't see that. Can't see that either. There we go. Got it all here. So you can see transonic, minute and 2 seconds. Subsonic, minute and 3 seconds. Minute and 3 seconds. Hour and 3 minutes. Landing burn at minute. Hour and 5 minutes. So we are 5-ish minutes away. We're still crazy how low it gets in 5 minutes. Oh. You can see it doing that dog leg. So it'll like come in and it'll go at an angle. Something's loose in here.
Starship is executing the swoosh maneuver.
The what maneuver? I do not know what he just said. Something maneuver. Oh, it's nose down.
Dynamic pressure is coming down.
Oh, wow.
Welcome back one last time to Starship Flight 13, the second flight of Starship version 3. As you can see on your screen with crisp views from Starlink, the ship is currently re-entering the Earth's atmosphere over the Indian Ocean. And really for the last several minutes, we had
if this goes well, we should have another launch pretty soon because the booster landed where it was supposed to, not as slow as it's supposed to.
We made it through max heating and max dynamic pressure, meaning that the vehicle temperature and speeds and pressure are all coming down, and we can see that in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen as that speed continues to decelerate. We're coming up to the ship landing burn, one of pretty much everybody's favorite part of Starship test flight days.
Just over a minute.
Up here in just about a minute or so.
Yeah, just about a minute away. We're going to try and light all 3 Raptor sea level engines for this burn. We'll light 3, do the flip. We'll eventually go down to 2 as we get close down to the water, down mode to a final 1 engine before we hopefully execute a nice soft splashdown. We'll see if we've got our buoys and drones in range with the recovery team. They're going to be standing by to try and get some additional views of Starship's heat shield, which from kind of our initial looks, it did pretty well on the flight uphill, but we'll continue to dig through all the visual data as we get it. We didn't do any real stress tests or anything on this flight. We did do, you heard our landing Larsh flight controller call out. We were doing the swoosh maneuver. This is kind of the final maneuver.
Swoosh maneuver.
Have Starships returning to Starbase do that will essentially hook them out over the Gulf before coming in and
just about 10 seconds.
But about 10 seconds away. Look for 3 Raptors, the 3 in the middle to light up. Do a flip. Let's see if we can get this thing in the water.
Here we go. Should be just a second. Here we go. Come on. Oh. 3 engines. 1 engine down. It's good, planned. Look at that! Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it.
And we're in the water.
It didn't explode!
And it's a soft splashdown in the water.
Oh, no, oh, it's leaking a little. Is it gonna explode? Oh, wow. That's never happened before.
This is the softest splashdown we have ever had with the Starship there in the Indian
Oh my god.
It's bound to be an exciting day for our recovery team.
That's crazy.
Huge milestone to even get to soft splashdown.
The first time it's not exploded when it's toppled over. They planned for it to explode as soon as it drops backwards. That's sick. Look at it.
Really get to see Starship floating so serenely in the Indian Ocean. So
That's
we're
crazy.
certainly enjoying these extended views.
Oh, come on.
Like I said, we're really pumped about this. I want to check in with Tyler. Tyler, how is Hawthorne feeling about Lucky
Dude.
13?
Hey, Kate, we are so excited about another successful Starship test flight and those gorgeous Starlink views that we had. And we can also confirm that we managed to make contact with all 20 of those V3 sats. So it's a massive day for us. So congratulations.
It's still floating.
To everyone at the team at Starbase, for Starlink, everyone here and
And
around the company.
the flames are coming out from the tanks, but the tanks are in the water. Might suppress the explosion. Might not explode because of it. Might also burn off the fuels that are left inside of it.
Thanks so much, Tyler. Now, for anyone who perhaps missed the action, I suggest that you rewind the clock. Wow, look at that view of the Starship heat shield tiles. You can really see how the atmospheric re-entry.
Oh my god.
How it disperses the heat around the edge of the vehicle. I don't think we've seen
Look at it.
quite that close before.
Never. And honestly, however short-lived that ship standing, bobbing in the water is, that is insane data for our team. It's unbelievable that we were able to keep that ship afloat. Now, we promised maximum excitement, and Starship V3 delivered.
Still going.
Congratulations to all of our teammates at SpaceX and to everyone who supported the Starship program. And thank you to all of our future customers for your support.
Still getting live views too.
Yeah, as you could tell, the crowd really enjoyed that Nemo cam for a moment. We'd also like to thank the
There it is again. Oh my god. That's crazy.
And the government of Mexico.
The amazing views do not end, so be sure to follow SpaceX on X for updates and more of these exciting shots that we didn't get to feature on today's broadcast.
And to get an inside real-time look
I can't wait for the documentary for this one.
Incredible rocket to life. Check out the latest episode of our documentary series Starship. And of course, thanks to all of you for tuning in. And we're gonna head back up to Dan for some additional thoughts.
Yeah, I'm losing my mind right now. We are still getting views from on board the
crazy.
ship with it in the water. Like, we had tried in the past to do these splashdowns as softly as possible. We experimented with rolls. This is the first time we've put an intact Starship in the water. This is a dream scenario for the team that's trying to get this heat shield data.
Actually
Normally,
crazy.
you're working with a slightly charred Starship in the water, and now we have one intact. So the recovery team is moving in with their drones, and that,
Oh my god.
we are still getting views from Starship. It is sending these via Starlink from the other side of the world while
That's
it is
crazy.
floating in the water after flying through space. Like, this is just completely surreal right now. This is just a mountain of data that we're going to get back. This is going to be...
The engine lines are still cold.
Refining the heat shield, everything else, and the really good news is all of these views that we're seeing, you're looking at a pretty intact looking heat shield, which, as a reminder, we were flying at a significantly higher dynamic pressure.
This is huge.
Way more stress in this vehicle on the way uphill.
Oh, there's a few little...
water and look at it. So
there's a few little holes.
I'm
Hold air, hold air.
On this, I know a lot of our team is just
A few
fascinated in
little,
the control room behind me.
little
I mean,
holes.
everybody is psyched. Everyone's gathered around their
Yeah,
computers
there's a few
looking at these
holes.
close-ups that
How
we're
did it
getting
not
of these
explode?
shield tiles. 18,000 of them. I mean, you
Yeah,
can
there's
count the ones that are missing right now on one hand.
not
Like, this is just
missing
absolutely
holes.
incredible. And the fact that, like, the cameras on board the ship are still sending back
They should try and move the
video
flaps,
is
see if they
just
move.
a little bit surreal. So, wow. Lucky number 13.
That's actually
Hell of a
crazy.
flight for Starship. Get it all the way there in the water.
No flames, no
really
nothing.
great day
A
for-
little bit
for
of flame down
version
here.
3, so. Whew. All right.
Wow.
As Kate and Nate said, we're gonna keep releasing more of this. Stay tuned. We've got some really cool stuff from some
These
of the
videos from the landing
keep following us.
is
on
going to be
X
sick.
SpaceX. Whole bunch more cool imagery from launch from the flight that's going to be coming out soon.
Look at that.
Let's just close on that. I mean, look at
And it's still
Starship in
venting.
the Indian Ocean. That's fantastic. We'll see you all back here for the next flight test of Starship version 3. With that, we'll say goodbye.
Dude. That's crazy. That is actually crazy. I want to look at some of these other streams.
Deploy coming up.
Should be further ahead here.
I don't.
Ow. Go a bit further back. Turn this down.
1 kilometer.
Nope. Yep, that one. There you go.
Here's the flip.
I want to see their reaction to it.
Looking good. Down selector to 2. And we are in the ocean. On 1 raptor. On no raptors. Q explosion. No explosion.
No explosion.
No explosion.
Oh,
we've got some fire. Here we go.
Nope.
Methane leak, maybe.
What?
Looks like
It's crazy.
It looks like we've had a puncture in the hull. Looks like maybe some methane is now floating on top of the ocean and is now ignited. The ship is floating.
Actually crazy.
Of all the things to be surprised by, that is the most surprising. The ship hasn't exploded, but it is on fire.
There's supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
What? This drone is in the danger zone. I mean,
Yeah.
I would pull back
I was
the
waiting
plane.
to see a live view of it explode and take the drone with it. I was kind of hoping to see it.
You know
Gonna
what?
be
That's
cool.
Jerry doing the drone.
No!
Oh no! Go back, SpaceX! Go back!
Go back!
Same.
What are you doing?
Go back!
Go back! I don't want to see your. No offense to Kate's eyes. I don't want to see your face right now. I want to see the ship.
Oh yeah, you can see
dear.
the track there. Look at that.
Yeah, see where it
Wow.
kind
You
of
see
tails at the
the
end.
little hook at
Yeah.
the end. Look at that.
Right in the middle.
Wow.
That's
Super
the
zoomed
hazard
in.
zone. It's back.
It's actually crazy, man.
Oh wow.
Look at this.
That must
It
be
did not
methane
blow
that's
up.
leaked.
Yeah. Or even just venting. Like it could just be venting. Because if it vents, it vents gases
Oh no,
methane.
what's wrong with the drone?
Ship on the water. Flap camera. Look at the top of her. There's a camera of the ship on the water.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
So cool being able to
They're
see the
gonna have a really
lines.
good view of the TPS.
I
gotta
mean,
say,
this is. Go on, Sawyer.
This reminds me a lot of when they would do the flip maneuver with the space shuttle and would see how the heat shield looked. That reminded me
Yes.
just of that.
In our
Wait,
article,
wait,
they've
wait.
managed to make. Look at this. Look
Yeah,
at
it's
it.
actually
A
crazy.
ship splashing in the Indian Ocean.
Oh, there's the
Hey, there we
with
go.
the ship.
The camera. I think that's
Only
the
for a
flap
moment.
camera.
Yes, that must. It was in the sea. At least we know the cameras are waterproof. On board with
Yeah,
the
look at
ship, you
that.
can see
Dude.
the body of the ship. when it bobs.
I wish they
bobs above
moved
the water. There
the
it is
flaps.
for a moment, for a couple frames.
So this may be a weird
How are they
question.
gonna be? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, how are you gonna?
I
bring
wonder
that
what they're
back?
gonna do
Are you
now.
looking to bring it back in pieces or sink it?
They're just gonna drag it behind the boat back.
You know,
Or are they gonna
there's-
purposely
It's time to bring out the
commit
big gun, I
sins
guess.
and cut it?
Quite literally, I was going to say there's a
That was the
humane
plan for the
way
first
to
few
put your
flights.
starships down. Unfortunately, it's a bit big to take to the vet, so I think they're going to have to improve
On the first few
some
flights, their
energetic
plan in the
methods
documents,
to
official
explode the
government
ship quality,
documents,
which, you know,
was
don't ask
to
questions
shoot
you don't want to
the
know the
tanks.
answers to, but SpaceX have built
Either
rockets
detonate the
so
explosives,
Look at that.
if it's not broken in pieces already, or shoot it with a gun and pop the tanks and sink it. I don't think they'll want to sink it anymore. Maybe that's not the plan, but
the ship is still alive.
should
You
bring
know,
it back
it's not only
and
intact,
like
it's
display
alive.
it.
It's still transmitting data back to SpaceX, despite it being horizontal bombing
Actually
in
crazy.
the Indian Ocean. On board with the engines! That is
It's actually crazy.
Whoa!
And remember, it's sending these views through Starlink. And you know how I told a bunch of times there are two Starlink cameras facing from the leeward, and there are two facing sideways. I bet the leeward ones are not sending these because they will be looking down on the water. The other two, however, they will be able to look to some of the satellites sideways. So these are probably being sent thanks to those. So thanks to whoever thought about putting any of those antennas more, or like rather less leeward. Because these views are amazing.
And this is just a spectacular view of the heat shield here. I mean, zooming in.
On the tiles. Yeah, thank you.
It looks like a reptile with the different colors and the different streaks and the tiles. I mean, I
So
can't
cool.
see one missing. This heat shield is
There are
just...
a few brokens, I think.
Is that broken or is it
Or maybe
holes
there's
in the
It could
tank?
either be from the splashdown, it could be from the
Maybe.
re-entry.
Look at that.
So it made it through.
I mean, if NSF made a newspaper, that would
And
be on the
held
front
up well
page. I mean,
enough
that
to
is
hit the
just
water.
Unbelievable.
Ship 40 splashes down and stays afloat.
For the record, I think this should be on the front page of all the newspapers, but I'm sure they'll find something more grim to talk about.
Alright, we're gonna find... Yeah, they're probably gonna find... EJ. Let's see.
I just... 1 kilometer off the deck. 3 engines on.
Oh my god, I keep going to the wrong one.
500. 4.
He usually has strong reactions to these
We
things.
have audio. 2. 1.
You hear the pop of each engine shutting off.
Don't explode. Don't explode. Don't explode.
And we're in the water.
There you go. The mic clipped out.
And it's a soft splashdown in the water.
No. Stay.
It's like Flight 10 all over again. It landed, had a few flames, stayed for like half an hour or like 10 minutes, and then exploded. Exploded like 10 minutes after landing on Flight 10. Hopefully that doesn't happen this time.
Bring it back. Holy oh, it's on fire. Okay, protection image of the
Let's see, hold on.
thing.
Hold on. Shush.
That's awesome.
Starlink, everyone heading towards
Anyone who...
Mm.
Look at that view
It's
of
so
the
good.
Starship heat shield panels. You can really see how the atmospheric re-entry, how it disperses the heat around the edge of the vehicle.
This kind of made up for the booster.
Never. And honestly, however short-lived that ship standing, bobbing in the water is, that is...
Why don't they bring the ship back before they bring the booster back?
Unbelievable that we were able to keep that ship
Dude, that
afloat.
heat shield looks perfect,
promised
man. It's so
maximum
good.
excitement,
It's
and
so
Starship
good.
V3 delivered. Congratulations,
It's
program.
huge.
And thank you to all of our
It's
future
still working.
customers
That was
for
a
your
camera
support.
Yeah, as you could tell, the crowd really enjoyed
Holy
shit!
Holy
the Coast
shit.
Guard, the
That's
Federal
awesome.
Aviation Administration, and
Holy
Follow
crap.
SpaceX today's broadcast.
Awesome.
And to get an inside real latest episode in, and
I'm
Dude!
We had
Oh
tried
my
in the past
goodness!
to do these splashdowns as softly as possible. We experimented with water.
Oh, that's so good, dude.
I want to wait until he sees the engine
Right?
cameras.
That's trying to get this heat shield data. Normally, you're working with a slightly charred Starship in the water, and now we have one intact. So the recovery team is moving in with their drones, and that
There.
we are still getting views from
Oh,
Starship.
they look
It is
so
sending
good.
these via Starlink from the other
Still
side
frosty,
of the world
too.
while it is floating in the water after flying through space. Like, this is just completely surreal right now.
That is so cool.
This is just a mountain of data that we're going to get back.
Fine on this.
Pretty intact, significantly
I know,
higher
Wiz.
dynamic pressure, so putting way more stress on this vehicle on the way uphill. And it's sitting there
Couple
in
of
the
things
water,
here and there, dude.
and, I mean, look at it.
Oh my God. That's
I'm
so
a little bit
cool.
over the moon on this. I know a lot of our team is just
Yeah, see, they're zooming in. See, there's some
fascinated in the
ablation.
control room
They had
behind
some
me.
burn
I
through
mean,
right there.
everybody
See him?
is psyched. Everyone's
Still
gathered
alive,
That's
though.
not a big deal,
looking
guys.
at these
That's nothing.
close-ups that we're
It's
getting.
nothing.
They have a layer under it,
Shield
just in case.
tiles,
Mank,
18,000
you
of
seeing
them.
this, dude?
I mean, you can probably count
There's
the
some
ones that are
broken
missing
tiles
right
here and
now
there,
on
but
one hand.
vast
Like,
majority
this
of them
is
look
just
fine.
Absolutely incredible. And the fact that
Brother.
the cameras on board the ship are still sending back video
Dude.
is just a little bit surreal. So, wow.
We're gonna need a bigger.
Lucky number 13. Hell of a flight for
Like a
Starship.
tow truck for
Get
ships.
it all the way there in the water. Really great day for version 3. So, whew. All right. As Kate
Actually crazy.
I can't believe that. I can't believe it didn't pop.
Stay tuned. We've got some really cool stuff.
I have one more I want to look at.
That we caught, so keep following
And then I'm gonna start closing it out. Where is YouTube is really weird. Why doesn't it recommend this at the top? Dude, why do I have to scroll so far down for live streams the thing I'm actually watching? That's stupid. Here.
Retreat and a few other things. So listen to those because yeah, it's fun. I appreciate
visual data thing on this.
So cool. Here's 1, 2, 3.
There it is.
Raptors.
It's cool you can hear the pops of each engine.
Did our flip down to 2. Starship descending into the Indian Ocean. Down to 1.
50 kilometers an hour it flopped over at.
Oh, it didn't blow up. Come on.
What? What is it? What do you mean, come on?
Here we go. Here we go.
That's not the reaction I was expecting from Tim.
That is the softest splashdown we have ever.
The soft splashdown.
That was interesting.
We can now right there.
Why did Tim want it to blow up?
Gorgeous Starlink views, plenty of those. Everyone at the team at Starbase as we make progress again. Goodbye from
for anyone who perhaps
of
the entry, I don't think we've seen quite that close before.
Never, and that.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Congratulations to all of our teammates at SpaceX and to everyone who supported the Starship program, and thank you to all of our future customers for your support.
We'd also like to thank the fine people of Cameron County, as well as the Coast Guard, the Federal Aviation Administration, and the Government of Mexico.
The amazing views do not end, so be sure to follow SpaceX on X for updates and more of these exciting shots that we didn't get to feature on today's broadcast.
And to get an inside real-time look into documentary.
Where the engine?
We experimented with rolls. This is a dream scenario for the team that's trying to get this heat shield data. Normally, you're working with a slightly charred Starship in the water, and now we have one intact. So the recovery team is moving in with their drones, and that we are still getting views from Starship.
You can tell Dan got hung up for a second.
Starlink from the other side of the world while it is floating in the water after flying through space. Like, this is just completely surreal right now. this is just a mountain of data that we're going to get back. This is going to be so critical for refining the heat shield, everything else. And the really good news is all of these views that we're seeing, you're looking at a pretty intact
That's crazy.
heat shield, which, as a reminder, we were flying.
That's actually crazy. Let's see, have they posted anything yet? Probably not, because it just ended. Nope, not that. I doubt they posted anything yet, right? No. Nothing yet. Oh, when I wake up tomorrow morning, the views that are going to be posted by then. Oh. That's going to be really interesting. But anyway. But yeah, that was slightly upsetting in some ways for the flight. For view-wise, they didn't show any of the boost back cameras. Didn't show any of the boost back cameras. Couldn't see the booster at all when it's separated. They showed the engine camera on the ship, which they've never done. And booster engines, only 5 engines ignited. I think it was 9 or 10 originally, and then a couple of them shut down. They wanted, I think, to land with 5, 3 the middles and 2 the outsides. And like, if I go back to the video from staging, if I go back to here, hot stated, right? If I go back to here, you can see down here, this is what they wanted to do for landing. 5 engines. But one of the center engines didn't start up properly. Or it started and then shut down. Don't know why. That's probably going to mean we're not going to get a catch on the 14th flight. Possible we can get orbital flight, and then maybe the one after that we can get a ship catch, and possibly a booster catch. That would be cool if you can get a flight like flight 15, a double catch. That would be really cool. Maybe flight 14 they'll do an orbital ship and another test in the booster, and maybe flight 15 they'll land the booster and send the ship orbital again, do a few more tests, and then 16 possibly bring both them back to land, maybe, if they can get their speed up, because I have to catch the booster in the first 10 minutes after launch. They've done that before. And then less than an hour later, well, if it's orbital, it'll be over an hour and a half, maybe, because I have to do a full loop. So probably hour and a half, 90 minutes it usually takes to do a full orbit. So within less than an hour and a half, they have to do full orbit, bring the ship back, put the booster back on the pad, catch the ship, and hopefully not crash into the booster, which would be good. So they'll probably have to catch one and then the other on separate flights at some point. But that would be very, very interesting. But that was entertaining. That was fun. That the ship definitely made up for part of the booster issues. So thank you to everyone that dropped by the stream. Stuck around for the entire stream. Definitely worth it. And probably not going to stream again to the next Starship flight. Hopefully it won't be too long, because this one was, what, 50 something days? Maybe it got into the 60s with the delays. But it was, actually, let me see. I think I can find out the turnaround on this flight. Starship flight 13. It has been... I can't. Damn. Well, it was very, very interesting. So hopefully less than a month, because technically I don't think the booster will need a instant investigation thing by the FAA because it did land in the right spot, just a bit faster than it was supposed to. But hopefully we can get that next flight soon. So thanks to everyone that dropped by the stream, and I will see you whenever the next stream is.